All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible journeys in American history. We're talking about a story of pure exploration, survival, and discovery that literally redrew the map of a brand new nation.
I mean, just think about that for a second. How would you even begin to explore 828,000 square miles of total wilderness? This was the monumental question facing the young United States back then. This new land was going to change everything. But first, someone had to actually go out there and see it.
So back in 1803, the U.S. makes this deal with France, the Louisiana Purchase. For just 15 million bucks, the country basically doubles in size overnight. The problem, no one, and I mean no one, had any real idea what they'd just bought. It was just a giant blank space on the map.
So you've got this great unknown staring you right in the face. And that means a lot of urgent questions. And the guy asking those questions, well, he just happened to be the president, and he had this burning curiosity about what was over that next horizon.
We're talking about President Thomas Jefferson. And you got to remember, he wasn't your typical politician. The man was a scientist, a naturalist, a true intellectual. For him, the Louisiana Purchase wasn't just about getting more land. No, this was a massive scientific and strategic opportunity. He needed to know what was out there.
And just look at what he wanted to find out. This was so much more than a map-making trip. He was hunting for that legendary Northwest Passage, a water route for trade. He wanted to document every new plant and animal, set up trade relationships with native tribes, and, this is a big one, to physically stake America's claim to the land. You know, to show Britain and Spain, hey, this is ours.
So a mission this huge, well, you're going to need a heck of a team. A crew with the guts and the skills to just vanish into the wilderness for years on end.
Jefferson's first pick was his own guy, Meriwether Lewis. He trusted him completely. But Lewis was smart. He knew this was a two-man job, so he brought in his old Army buddy, William Clark. And they were like the perfect pair, you know? Lewis was the brainy scientist, the planner. Clark was the rugged frontiersman, the guy who could read the land and an absolutely brilliant mapmaker. They were the dream team.
And it wasn't just them, of course. They led a group called the Corps of Discovery. We're talking about 40 or so guys, all handpicked for being tough as nails. These were soldiers, expert hunters, boatmen, basically the exact people you'd want with you when you're heading into the great unknown.
But you know, maybe the single most vital person on this whole trip wasn't a soldier at all. Her name was Sacagawea. She was a young Shoshone woman who joined them that first winter. And calling her a guide, interpreter, and diplomat, man, that doesn't even begin to cover it.
Her contribution was just absolutely crucial. She could speak the languages, sure, but she also knew the land. She knew which plants you could eat and which ones were medicine. That's life or death stuff. And maybe the biggest thing? Her very presence, a woman with a baby, sent a powerful message to every tribe they met. We come in peace. A war party would never bring a woman and a child.
All right, so the team is set, the epic journey begins, and for them, where they were going might as well have been another planet. It was that unknown.
This timeline really hits you when you see how long this took. We're talking over 2 years and 8,000 miles. Think about that. They start in St. Louis, fight their way up the Missouri River, spend a super important winter in what's now North Dakota, and then comes the really hard part. Somehow getting over the Rocky Mountains to finally hit the Pacific.
And this quote, "Ocean in view." Oh, the joy. You can just feel it, can't you? The pure relief and excitement in William Clark's words. After a year and a half of just hellish travel, they'd actually done it. They made it to the edge of the continent.
But wow, did they earn that moment. The journey was a non-stop fight for survival. We're talking brutal weather, insane river currents, grizzly bears. They were constantly running out of food. That trip over the Rockies, through the snow-covered Bitterroot Mountains, it almost destroyed them. Seriously, they were that close to not making it.
So they make it all the way home. And the big question is, what did they have to show for it? Well, the answer is simple. They brought back knowledge. And it was the kind of knowledge that would completely reshape the nation.
Get this. Over 100. That's how many animal species they documented that were brand new to Western science. Things we take for granted now, like the grizzly bear, the prairie dog, the pronghorn antelope, were basically introduced to the rest of America because of their journals. Incredible.
And that was just for starters. They came back with the first real, detailed maps of the American West. They had priceless notes on plants, animals, and all the different Native American cultures they met.
And from a political standpoint, their journey was proof that the U.S. was there, which gave America a much stronger claim to the Oregon Territory. So in the end, that's really their biggest legacy. I mean, they didn't find that magical river to the Pacific, because it doesn't exist, but what they did was way more important. They took the mystery out of the West, they proved that the continent could be crossed, and their maps and stories, that's what lit the fuse for the westward migration that would define America for the rest of the 19th century. And that brings us to the really complicated part of this story. For the United States, the expedition was a massive success, a total triumph. It opened the door for expansion, but we have to ask, what did that mean for the people who were already living there? That new map now included their lands, their homes, and that wave of expansion would change their world forever.